First order of business is the calling the roll. Would you please?
Andrews. Campbell.
Here.
DeBrava.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
Hahn.
Here.
Hyder.
Here.
Thank you. Next item is the approval of the agenda. Does anyone wish to make changes to the agenda, or are we good? And if so, give me a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the agenda. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Hyder.
Aye.
Hahn.
Aye.
Ellis.
Aye.
DeBrava.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Okay, next item of business is the approval of the minutes from the previous Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Any changes to that? If so, let us know. If not, I'd like a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second it.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Campbell.
Aye.
Ellis.
Aye.
Hahn.
I'm abstaining because I wasn't here.
Hyder.
Aye.
DeBrava.
Abstain.
Next item is the meeting procedures. Chris?
The Planning and Zoning
Oh,
Commission
dear.
holds public hearings as required by law and provides recommendations to City Council on matters relating to land use planning, zoning, and subdivision of land. Any person who has interest in the subject matter of a hearing will have the opportunity to provide testimony and to present evidence to the Commission during the public hearing. Speakers are required to conduct themselves in an orderly and respectful manner. Disruptive behavior, including applause, yelling, speaking out of turn, or other inappropriate behaviors will not be tolerated. Additionally, the following applies to any person addressing the Commission. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless authorized additional time by the chairperson. Speakers must speak at the podium unless previous arrangements have been made by the chairperson. Speakers must print their name and address on the sign-in sheet at the podium prior to speaking. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address. Speakers should clearly speak into the microphone. The chairperson will announce the subject of the hearing, followed by a report by staff. The chairperson will then open the public hearing to the applicant, followed by those in favor of the application and those opposed to the application. The chairperson will close the public hearing. During this time, the Commission will discuss amongst themselves. The public may not address the Commission and after the close of the public hearing unless requested by the chairperson. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall base their recommendation and or decision on information and evidence presented during the public hearing. This decision, if required by the application, will be forwarded to the City Council for further consideration.
Thank you. We have 4 public hearings tonight, so we'll get to each and every one of you that wants to speak. Again, there's a time limitation, and I'm gonna try the best I can to make sure that we give you the full 5 minutes if you need it, but not a second more. I'm gonna call these one at a time, and as Karen indicated in the procedures, we'll go through the public comment, and then we'll close that meeting, and then we'll go directly to a discussion among us about that particular matter. Then we'll move to the next hearing. So if you're number 4 on the docket, it may be just a little while. The first item is Rezone 21-014, a public hearing and possible vote to recommend an application for rezone by Wilmouth Oil Company of 14.04 acres at the 600 block of West Civic Boulevard from Planned Development District, that's a PDD, to General Commercial C2. Chris?
Thank you, Commissioner. Wilmeth Oil Co. LLC has applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 14.04 acres of property situated at the termination of West Civic Boulevard from Planned Development District, PDD, to General Commercial, C2. The property subject to this rezoning application is currently vacant. The applicant has expressed their intent to develop on the property. The property is currently zoned as part of the Greater Frisco Square Planned Development District. Existing uses allowed on the property includes local commercial C1, high-density single-family residential R1H, and multifamily R3, as well as a small portion of agricultural AG, all of which are referenced in the Frisco Square Development Plan. The following paragraphs contain brief analyses of present site conditions as well as the proposal's relationship to adopted plans of the city. The city's comprehensive plan generally encourages the expansion of commercial development through proactive rezoning of land at appropriate locations. Appropriate locations are described generally throughout the plan, with regard to the relationship of land at particular locations to infrastructure capable of supporting various intensities and densities of uses. In the section Coordinating with Infrastructure, Goal 1, support new development that is well connected to the existing community. Objective 1B, promote development aligning with current adopted plans of the city. The intensity of uses should match the capacity of infrastructure to serve. Goal 2, recognize potential infill sites as opportunities for development while mitigating impacts to adjacent established properties. Objective 1A, support the development of vacant parcels as opportunities for densification that is harmonious with surrounding development. The rezone of this parcel is in line with area development. City water and sanitary sewer will be required for development of the parcel. The general trend in the vicinity of the subject property off of Highway 60 is development and redevelopment of commercial properties of low to middling intensity. The subject property is surrounded by the Frisco Square Planned Development District to the northeast across Illinois Avenue, General Commercial C2 to the northwest, and medium-density single-family residential R1M to the south. The single-family properties consist of 12 lots in Lakeside Estates, first and second editions. The land uses permitted in the General Commercial C2 zoning district include high-intensity commercial uses as well as the lower-intensity commercial uses found in the local commercial C1 zoning district. The parcel has access to a 10-inch water main running along the property on the south side of West Frisco Boulevard. Alternatively, a 10-inch main runs on the far east side of Illinois Avenue. The subject is in proximity to an 8-inch sanitary sewer main that runs along property lines to the east and south. Sewer would flow to the Woodland Park Lift Station, then to Lift Station 2, and then to the wastewater treatment plant. Regarding transportation, the parcel is expected to utilize access to South Illinois Avenue. No traffic impact study, or TIS, was required with this rezone due to the reduction in trip generation the rezone represents when compared to the existing allowable uses provided for by the Frisco Square Planned Development District. The subject parcel does not contain a special flood hazard area. The subject property does not contain any identified sinkholes. Staff considers the proposed zoning amendment rezoning to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, consistent with the trend of development in the vicinity of the site, compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be adequately served by municipal facilities. Based on this analysis, performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff recommends the approval of this application.
Thank you. I will first hear from anyone who had the persons that have brought this application. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak about that? Yes, sir. Come and identify yourself and let us know.
I'll sign in first.
Okay.
My name is Brent Wilmoth. I'm from Mount Vernon, Missouri, and my family and I made a decision recently to purchase this said property approximately 4 months ago, and wanted to look at developing that for storage units, like a storage facility in the on the existing site. So we currently have 2 locations already in operation, one in Mount Vernon, Missouri, and one in Stockton, Missouri, and we have tried to our very best to make sure that it is well-maintained, the well-lit, well-kept location. So our intentions is to go in and probably spend approximately $3+ million there over a period of about probably a year to develop this, and hopefully be able to put in approximately 400, 500 storage units there, some being climate controlled, others just being regular units. But we felt like it would be an opportunity for both the city and for us to help benefit the community and hopefully be able to help develop the Frisco development. So we proposed the rezoning and asked that you can please consider that, and hopefully we can move forward with this in the next 6 to 12 months is our goal. We'd like to get started during that time period if possible, if we can be approved for rezoning to do this. And we're looking at doing a gated facility, all external fencing around the whole property, and we'd like to do some landscaping on the property there once we get everything finished, and hopefully be as good a neighbor as possible. That's our goal. We do that at all of our other locations and do our very best to try to make sure that if there's a concern, we address that, and we try to be as good a neighbor as possible. So that's our intentions with what we'd like to do with that property moving forward if we're allowed to rezone it properly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, go to any persons here that want to speak in favor of the application. Is there anyone that wants to, other people that want to speak in favor of this application? Not seeing anyone come forward. Now we move to those that would like to speak opposed to the application. If you want to come up and identify yourself, and if you have not signed in, sign in, and then we'll hear your.
I'm not opposed to storage.
You need to speak with us. You need to speak to us. You're giving testimony to us.
I'm
you
not opposed to storage units. There are 3 considerations that I want to make known now and again and again and again until I'm heard. Okay? I am Gail Saunders. I'm the owner of the residence at 631 West Melody Lane, which is directly south of the 14.04 acres involved, and I have the following concerns. Number 1, drainage. Number 1, drainage. Melody Lane is the first street south of the property. Melody Lane is also much lower than this property. Our home has always been separated from this property by a ditch and a berm.
Ma'am, Ms. Saunders.
When
You're
we
sp-
built
Ms.
our
Ms. Saunders,
house-
you're speaking to the commission. You're
When
not
we
speaking
bu-
to people out
Okay.
here.
When
Please
we
do
built
that.
our house in 2004, we were told that there would always be a buffer between our neighborhood and any development behind us. My concern is, will the ditch behind us be enough to protect us and our neighbors from an increase in runoff from this commercial development? I'm also concerned about light pollution. For 17 years, we have lived with 11 lights that are on the south and west side of Calvary Baptist Church. These lights are on timers that turn the lights on at dusk and don't turn the lights off until full daylight the next day. May I please suggest that all new commercial development, please consider pointing your security lights toward Calvary Baptist Church on the north. They don't seem to mind all the light. Third concern is noise. Melody Lane, west of Illinois Street and south of this property, is an older neighborhood. 6 of those homes are still occupied by the original owners and were built over 40 years ago. We are the new kids on the block, and my husband and I are over 70 years old. So this is an established neighborhood with older adults. Please do not plan on a business that is open 24 hours a day. The old folks need their rest.
Ma'am,
Thank you, I'm finished.
thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak against the proposal? Going, gone. Close this hearing. Proceed to our discussion. Anybody have thoughts? Don't all speak at once now.
Can we address the concern of the runoff water? Can you hear me now? Can we address the concern of the runoff water and the ditch behind?
Would you mind explaining how we would?
Hello, I'm Garrett Brickner. I'm the engineering manager for the city. Currently, there's a ditch that runs along the property lines, like she was explaining, and it runs to a half-formed detention area that's down there right now. What would happen as this property develops is they would have to do a stormwater report showing us exactly how they are going to manage their stormwater. They would not be allowed to run anything off of their property that currently doesn't exit their property now. They need to detain it on their property and release it into the nearest right-of-way, which would probably be along Illinois Avenue there.
No. Time for that's gone. Anyone else have questions? Or did you get enough of an answer?
No, that's fine.
Great, thanks.
I mean, there's a lighting point the other way, obviously, as well. Where they use.
We do have regulations as to how lighting is utilized.
That's what I thought.
In this case, we're not really discussing anything beyond the rezone to a C2, so there isn't any lighting really to discuss per se. The city does have ordinances to require certain brightness restrictions be met. So we do have, a way of looking at that. We do require lighting as part of the plan and review that once a plan does come through. At this point, we're just looking at a rezone, though, to a C2 property.
Okay.
Understand that the city probably has ordinances with noise levels as well, but I presume that to address your concern that a storage facility is probably going to be one of your quietest uses, so perhaps.
Hear a motion? No motion? More questions?
Motion to approve the rezoning 21-01514.
1-4, yes.
Oh, I moved on.
Second.
All right.
I'm
I-
not used to, usually the other guy does it.
I have a motion to rezone 21-014, public hearing and possible vote to recommend an application for rezone by Wilmouth Oil Company of 14.04 acres at 600 block of West Civic Boulevard from planned development PDD to general commercial C2. That was your motion, right? Thank you. And that was your second?
Yep.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Call the roll, please.
DeBrava,
Aye.
Ellis,
Aye.
Hahn,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Hyder.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item of business is rezone number 21-015. Public hearing and possible vote to recommend an application for rezone by Monette Apartments LLC of .46 acres at the 1200 block of South State Highway MM from medium density single family, that's R1M, to heavy manufacturing M2. Chris?
All right, so before I read the staff report, let me give you a little background on this one. So we've got 3 rezones in a row here. The next 3 of them are all related. They're all by the same applicant. And if you look at the map up here, it's these 3 properties that are all residential properties right there. One's vacant and the 2 above it have houses. Previously, we've had a rezone that came before us and rezoned to heavy manufacturing that rezoned all of the properties surrounding those. And at that time, the applicant had a discussion with some homeowners trying to buy some of these properties. Since then, he has been able to buy some of these properties and is trying to rezone them to eventually bring them into this heavy manufacturing that was previously rezoned. So I'll cover this first one in greater detail, and then we'll allow the person speaking for the applicant to come up and speak, and then we won't, we'll try and avoid covering all that information for each of the subsequent rezones. Monette Apartments LLC has applied to change the zoning classification of approximately .46 acres of property located at the 1200 block of South State Highway MM from medium density single family residential R1M to heavy manufacturing M2. The property subject to this rezoning application is currently vacant. The applicant has expressed their intent to develop the property. The following paragraphs contain brief analysis of the present site conditions as well as the proposal's relationship to adopted plans of the city. The city's comprehensive plan generally encourages the expansion of commercial development through proactive rezoning of land at appropriate locations. Appropriate locations are described generally throughout the plan with regard to the relationship of land at particular locations to infrastructure capable of supporting various intensities and densities of uses. Section Coordinating with Infrastructure, Goal 1, support new development that is well connected to the existing community. Objective 1B, promote development aligning with current adopted plans of the city. The intensity of uses should match the capacity of infrastructure to serve. Goal 3, encourage the redevelopment and integration of the former Brookline area. Objective 3B, support the development of an industrial commercial center where infrastructure and transportation exist. The rezone of this parcel is in line with city and regional planned improvements along the State Highway MM corridor. City water and sanitary sewer will be required for development of the parcel, which will increase opportunities for access by adjacent parcels. Certain traffic improvements will be required in accordance with traffic impact study results. The general trend in the vicinity of the subject property along State Highway MM is new construction and redevelopment of industrial and commercial projects of high to middling intensity. The subject property is surrounded by medium-density single-family residential R1M to the north, heavy manufacturing M2 on the south and west, and agricultural across State Highway MM to the east. The land uses permitted in the heavy manufacturing M2 zoning district include industrial and manufacturing uses of high intensity, as well as uses listed under local commercial C1, general commercial C2 and C3, and light manufacturing M1. The applicant plans to work with surrounding development to provide utilities and transportation collectively. The following passages describe the improvements as intended to serve the larger whole. The parcel is in proximity to a 12-inch water main serving Murphy Tractor on the south side of Farm Road 144. Development of the property will require the looping of water from its current location to serve the subject parcel. Again, I'm speaking to what would be the larger development of the property once these are brought into this planned industrial center, this larger M2 property. Due to topography, the property is unable to gravity to an existing lift station. Instead, a new lift station will be constructed to serve the development. Sanitary sewer will then flow from the new lift station to the Brookline North Lift Station, Brookline South Lift Station, McElhaney Lift Station, Schuler Creek Lift Station, where it is then pumped from the Schuler Creek to the wastewater treatment facility. The water system named lift stations and wastewater treatment facility currently have capacity to serve the applicant's intended use. Regarding transportation, the development will include a public street with access on Farm Road 144 and State Highway MM. A traffic impact study was required for the rezoning application previously done on this project. The study area of the TIS encompassed this and a connected rezone to the north, and its evaluation since both parcels will utilize the same access points created by the new road, the one at Farm Road 144 and the one on State Highway MM. The following recommendations resulted from the traffic impact study. Intersection of State Highway MM and New Public Road, a designated northbound and southbound right turn lane at State Highway MM and the new road. Eastbound left and right turning movements are separated out into individual lanes. And at the intersection of State Highway MM and Farm Road 144, a designated northbound left turn lane. The subject parcel does not contain a special flood hazard area. The subject property does not contain any identified sinkholes. The staff considers the proposed zoning map amendment to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, consistent with the trend of development in the vicinity of the site, compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to adequately be served by municipal facilities. Based upon this analysis performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff recommends the approval of this application.
Thank you, Chris. Is the applicant here and wishing to speak, or any representative of the applicant?
Mark Blair, Cochran Engineering, 2804 North Biagio, Ozark, Missouri. Like Chris had said, this property had previously been rezoned to that surrounds all of these parcels. Our client was able to purchase the rest of these parcels and would like to bring them in with the M2 from the R1M zoning. And right now, it's all in conceptual phases for the most part. I don't, what the exhibit you're seeing is a conceptual layout. With these being brought in, it's subject to change some. It will go through the preliminary plating process and all the other processes before anything has been finalized, but that's pretty much those. The next three are, like Chris had said, are all these three parcels that are in the red on that exhibit. If anyone has any questions.
Don't know. We might when we start talking about it, in which case we know where you're sitting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here that is in favor of this petition? This application to rezone, sorry. No big rush to the podium, so is there anyone here that is opposed to the application that wishes to speak? Okay, gone. Commission, what do you think?
We established the last planning and zoning meeting a couple ago that the people who are building stuff on this property are responsible for the cost of the lift station. Okay. I just want to make sure that's still.
That's a yes from three people nodding their head yes. That needs to be on the record.
That is correct.
Thank you.
And that'll be discussed in further detail during the preliminary plating process, but because that is something that will be required in order to serve the actual development, those costs associated with that will be at the burden of the applicant.
Okay. And then are these stoplights up here, up there and there, or is it just a stoplight here?
There were no
There was not,
stoplights
okay.
discussed in the, that was not the result
Just
of the
the
traffic
turn off,
impact study.
right? Just the turn off, or
Just intersections with designated turn lanes
That's
in
right.
some cases, or, I believe just one designated in the case of the new road and 144. The intersection at MM, I believe, has a southbound and a northbound turn lane.
Any other questions? Or motions?
Motion to approve the application to change the zoning classification of 0.46 acres located on 1200 block of South State Highway MM from medium density single family residence R1 to heavy manufacturing M2.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Everyone understand the motion? You get an A for tonight's motion making. All right. Call the roll, please.
Campbell,
Aye.
Ellis,
Aye.
Hahn,
Aye.
DeBrava,
Aye.
Hyder.
Aye.
Okay. We will move to rezone 21-016. Public hearing and possible vote to recommend an application for rezone by Monad Apartments LLC of 0.69 acres located at 1249 South State Highway MM from medium density single family R1M to heavy manufacturing M2. Chris?
The Monad Apartments LLC has applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 0.69 acres of property located at the 1200 block of South State Highway MM from agricultural AG to heavy from R1M to heavy manufacturing M2. It's a typo. The property subject to this rezone application has a single family home. The applicant has expressed their intent to develop on the property. The following paragraphs contain brief analysis of the present site conditions as well as the proposal's relationship to adopted plans of the city. The rezone of this parcel is in line with city and regional planned improvements along the State Highway MM corridor. City water and sanitary sewer will be required for development of the parcel, which will increase opportunities for access by adjacent parcels. Certain traffic improvements will be required in accordance with traffic impact study results. The general trend in the vicinity of the subject property along State Highway MM is new construction and redevelopment of industrial and commercial projects of high to middling intensity. The subject property is surrounded by medium-density single-family residential R1M to the north and south, heavy manufacturing M2 on the west, and agricultural AG across State Highway MM to the east. The land uses permitted in the heavy manufacturing M2 zoning district include industrial and manufacturing uses of high intensity, as well as uses listed under the local commercial, general commercial, and light manufacturing districts. Regarding the capacity to serve potential development and land use, the applicant plans to work with surrounding development to provide utilities and transportation collectively. Water is served much in the same fashion as the previous one by a 12-inch water main off the south side of Farm Road 144. Looping will be required as the project develops. And again, this project also benefits from the, requires the lift station be created in order to serve it. The development will also, again, include the public street with access on Farm Road 144 and State Highway MM. A traffic impact study was required for the application as a whole for the greater property. And the study area of the TIS encompassed this and connected rezone to the north in its evaluation, since both parcels will utilize the same access points created by the new road, one at Farm Road 144 and one on State Highway MM. The subject parcel does not contain any special flood hazard area. The subject property does not contain any identified sinkholes. Staff considers the proposed zoning map amendment, rezoning, to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, consistent with the trend of development in the vicinity of the site, compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be adequately served by municipal facilities. Based upon this analysis, performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff recommends the approval of this application. I did skip some of that, obviously, to avoid, covering the same information 3 times.
Let me do this. Let me suggest that the council vote to incorporate the general testimony concerning the property that would be applicable to all three of these. We'll do it again at the next hearing, so we don't have to be redundant with that information, provided the commission is okay with that. So my motion would be that the commission use the information in the hearing on rezone 21-015 to the extent necessary to show the total project that was presented there. I think you probably represented it, but can I get a second on that motion?
Second.
All right. Call the roll.
Campbell,
Aye.
Cabrera,
Aye.
Ellis,
Aye.
Han,
Aye.
Hyder.
Aye.
Now, where we were, is there anyone else that wishes to speak in, oh, no, I need the applicant. If the applicant wants to add anything else besides what you did in the last one, the floor is yours. You're good. Okay. Is there anyone else that's in favor of this application that wishes to speak? I can't sell anything tonight. Is there anyone here that is opposed to the application that wishes to speak? Okay. That hearing's closed. Any discussion? Then somebody shoot a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to, on rezone 21-016, a motion to recommend an application for rezone by Monad Apartments LLC of 0.69 acres located at 1249 South State Highway MM from medium density single family R1M to heavy manufacturing M2. That was your motion? Is that correct, Cynthia? Is that correct, Cynthia?
Yes.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Campbell,
Aye.
Cabrera,
Aye.
Ellis,
Aye.
Han,
Aye.
Hyder.
Aye.
Move to rezone 21-017. Public hearing and possible vote to recommend an application for rezone by Monad Apartments LLC of 1.22 acres located at 1235 South State Highway MM from medium density single family R1M to heavy manufacturing M2. Chris?
The Monad Apartments LLC has applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 1.22 acres of property located at 1235 South State Highway MM from medium-density single-family residential R1M to heavy manufacturing M2. The property subject to this rezoning application currently has a single-family home on the property. The applicant has expressed their intent to develop. The following paragraphs contain a brief analysis of present site conditions as well as the proposal's relationship to the adopted plans of the city. The rezone of this parcel is in line with city and regionally planned improvements along State Highway MM corridor. City water and sanitary sewer will be required for development of the parcel, which will increase opportunities for access by adjacent parcels. Certain traffic improvements will be required in accordance with traffic impact study results. The general trend in the vicinity of the subject property along State Highway MM is new construction and redevelopment of industrial and commercial projects of high to middling intensity. The subject property is surrounded by heavy manufacturing, M2, on the north and west, medium-density single-family residential, R1M, to the south, and agricultural across State Highway MM to the east. The land uses permitted in the heavy manufacturing zoning district include industrial and manufacturing uses of high intensity, as well as uses listed under local commercial, general commercial, and light manufacturing districts. The applicant plans to work with surrounding development to provide utilities and transportation collectively. The parcel will be connected, as previously stated in the prior testimony, by a 12-inch water main on the south side of Farm Road 144. The topography requires that the property is the subject of a new lift station, and this lift station will be constructed to serve the development if the property moves forward. The development will include a public street with access on Farm Road 144 and State Highway MM. Certain traffic improvements will be required based on the traffic impact study results. The study area of this TIS encompassed this and a connected rezone to the north in its evaluation, since both parcels will utilize the same access points created by the new road at Farm Road 144 and State Highway MM. The subject parcel does not contain a special flood hazard area. The subject property does not contain any identified sinkholes. Staff considers the proposed zoning map amendment rezoning to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, consistent with the trend of development in the vicinity of the site, compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be adequately served by municipal facilities. Based upon this analysis performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff recommends the approval of this application.
Let me make sure for purposes of the record, Chris, that in the rezone 21-015, when we were discussing that in that public hearing, you indicated that rezone 21-015, 21-016, and 21-017 were adjoining properties. The applicant was the same in all Monad Apartments LLC. They vary somewhat in size. The parcels vary somewhat in size, but the reason and a lot of the information presented during 21-1015 was also applicable to 21-016 and 21-017. Is that all correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
All right. On that basis, I would make a motion that the commission consider the testimony that was presented in 21-015, 21-06 as included in 21-07 this hearing for purposes, if there's anything additional that has not been or will not be said, we'll take that testimony as being in this hearing. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Ellis,
Aye.
Vaughn,
Aye.
Hyder,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
DeBrava.
Aye.
Okay, now the applicant, it's time for the applicant. Is there anything the applicant's representative wishes to share that we've not already heard? Your answer was nothing? Nothing more than what we've already heard? All right, thank you. I'm not putting words in your mouth too much. Is there anyone else here that is here in support of this application that wishes to speak? We've kind of whittled down the crowd, so there's three opportunities. No one wishes to speak. Thank you. Is there anyone here that is opposed to this application that wishes to speak? No one rushing forward, so we will close this hearing and go to our discussion. Or motions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve the recommendation of the application for rezone by Monad Apartments LLC of 1.22 acres located at 1235 South State Highway MM from medium density single family R1M to heavy manufacturing M2. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Campbell,
Aye.
DeBrava,
Aye.
Ellis,
Aye.
Hyder,
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item of business is other business, and there is none. Next item after that is citizen participation. Anyone that wishes to come and address any issue with us other than the issues that were subject of these hearings is welcome to do so now. Still can't sell it. Okay. Next item, the ever-popular Community Development Department update.
No updates this month.
Okay, so that leaves only one item, that's adjournment. Thank you very much for coming, appreciate it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. I have a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Campbell,
Aye.
Hyder,
Aye.
Hahn,
Aye.
Ellis,
Aye.
DeBravo.
Aye.